Hello, young and older. Welcome to Chapter 4 of Enid Blyton's The Magic Faraway Tree. Chapter 4, The Land of Spells. Dick shot round down the inside of the faraway tree on his cushion. He came to the bottom. He shot out of the trapdoor there and landed on the soft green moss. He sat there for a moment out of breath. "That's the loveliest slide I've ever had," he thought to himself. Oh, wouldn't I like to do that again? He had just got up from the moss when the trapdoor at the bottom of the tree opened once again and Fanny shot out on a yellow cushion. Then came Bessie, giggling, for she always thought it was a huge joke to slide down inside the tree like that. "What do we do with the cushions?" asked Dick. "Does Moonface want them back?" "Yes, he does," said Fanny, picking them up. "The red squirrel always collects them and sends them back to him." As she spoke, a red squirrel, dressed in a jersey, popped out of the hole in the trunk. "Here are the cushions," said Fanny, and the squirrel took them. He looked up into the tree and a rope came swinging down. "Moonface always lets it down for his cushions," said Bessie. Dick watched the squirrel tie the 3 cushions to the rope end. Then he gave 3 gentle tugs at the rope, and at once the rope was pulled up and the cushions went swinging up the tree to Moonface. "I wish Joe was with us," said Dick as they all went home. "Do you suppose Aunt Polly will be worried about him?" "Well, we'll have to tell Mother," said Fanny. "She is sure to ask where he is." Mother did ask, of course, and the girls told her what had happened. "I find this all very difficult to believe," said Mother, astonished. "I think Joe is just spending the night with Moonface for a treat." "Well, he certainly must come back tomorrow, for there is work for him to do." Nobody said any more. The girls and Dick felt very tired, and after some hot cocoa and potatoes cooked in their jackets for supper, they all went to bed. Bessie wondered how Joe was getting on at Moonface's. He was getting on all right, although he was very tired of being upside down. It didn't matter how hard he tried to get the right way up, he always swung back topsy-turvy again. The policeman had put a very strong spell on him. "You'd better try to sleep in my bed," said Moonface. "I'll sleep on my sofa." "I suppose I'll have to stand on my head all night," said poor Joe. And that's just what he did have to do. It was most uncomfortable. Once he lost his balance when he fell asleep and tipped off the bed. He almost fell down the slippery slip, but Moonface, who was awake, reached out a hand and caught his leg just in time. "Gracious," said Moonface, "don't go doing things like this in the middle of the night, Joe. It's most upsetting." "Well, how can I help it?" said Joe. "I'll tie your feet to a nail on my wall," said Moonface. "Then you can't topple over when you are asleep." So he did that, and Joe didn't fall down any more. When morning came, he was most astonished to find himself upside down, for at first he didn't remember what had happened. "I'll just peep up through the hole in the cloud and see if by any chance the land of spells is there yet," said Moonface. "If it is, we'll go up and see what we can do for you." So off he went up the little ladder and popped his head out of the hole in the cloud to see if the land of topsy-turvy was still there or if it had gone. There was nothing there at all, only just the big white cloud moving about like a thick mist. Moonface slipped down the ladder again. "Topsy-turvy has gone, but the next land hasn't come yet," he said. "We'll have breakfast and then I'll look again. Hello, there's Silky. Stay and have breakfast, Silky darling." "I came up to see how Joe was," said Silky. "Yes, I'd love to have breakfast. It's funny to watch Joe eating upside down. Hasn't the land of spells come yet?" "Not yet," said Moonface, putting on a kettle for his stove to boil. "There's nothing there at all, but topsy-turvy is gone, thank goodness." They all had breakfast. Moonface cooked some porridge. "What do you want on your porridge?" he asked Joe. "Treacle? Sugar? Cream?" Joe couldn't see any treacle, sugar or cream on the table. Treacle, he said. Please, Moonface. Moonface handed him a small jug that seemed to be quite empty. Treacle, he said to the jug in a firm voice, and treacle came pouring out as soon as Joe tipped up the jug. Silky wanted cream, and cream came out when Moonface said cream to the jug. It was great fun. Moonface went again to see if the land of spells had come. This time he came back excited. It's there, he said. Come on. I'd better take some money with me, I think, in case we have to buy the spell we want. He took a big purse down from a shelf, and then he and Silky helped Joe to walk upside down up the branch that led through the hole in the cloud to the little ladder. Up he went with great difficulty, holding on tightly to the rungs of the ladder with his hands. At last he was up in the land of the spells. This land was like a big marketplace. In it were all kinds of curious little shops and stalls. All kinds of people sold spells. In some of the shops sat tall wizards famous for magic. In some of them were green-eyed witches making spells as fast as they could. Outside, in the marketplace, sat all kinds of fairy folk at their stalls, pixies, gnomes, goblins, elves, all crying their wares at the tops of their high voices. "Spell to make a crooked nose straight!" cried one pixie, rattling a yellow box in which were magic pills. "Spell to grow blue daffodils!" cried a gnome, showing a bottle of blue juice. "Spell to make cats sing!" cried another gnome. Spell to make cats sing? Joe could hardly believe his ears. How queer! Who would want to make cats sing? "Now, we must just see if we can possibly find a spell to make you stand up straight again," said Moonface, and he went into a little low shop in which sat a strange goblin. The goblin had blue pointed ears, and his eyes sparkled as if they had fireworks in them. "I want a spell," said Moonface. "What for?" asked the goblin. "I've a spell for everything under the sun in my shop. Very powerful spells too, some of them. Would you like a spell to send you travelling straight off to the moon?" "Oh no, thank you," said Moonface at once. "I know I look like the man in the moon with my big round face, but I'm nothing at all to do with the moon, really." "Well, would you like a spell to make you as tall as a giant?" said the goblin, picking up a box and opening it. He showed Moonface a large blue pill inside. "Now take the pill and you'll shoot up as high as a house. You'll feel fine. It only costs 1 piece of gold." "No, thank you," said Moonface. "If I grew as big as that, I'd never get down the hole in the cloud back to the faraway tree. And if I did, I'd never be able to get in at the door of my tree house. I don't want silly spells like that." "Silly?" cried the goblin in a rage. "You call my marvellous spell silly? Another word from you, stupid old round face, and I'll use a spell that will turn you into a big bouncing ball." Silky pulled Moonface out of the shop quickly. She was quite white. "Moonface, you know you shouldn't make these people cross," she whispered. "Why, you may find yourself nothing but a bouncing ball or a black beetle or something if you're rude to them. For goodness sake, let me ask for the spell." "Look, here's a bigger shop with a nice-looking witch inside." They all went in. The witch was knitting stockings from the green smoke that was coming from her fire. It was marvellous to watch her. Joe wished he wasn't upside down so that he might see her properly. "Good morning," said the witch. "Do you want a spell?" "Yes, please," said Silky in her most polite voice. "We want to make our friend Joe come the right way up again." "That's easy," said the witch, her green eyes looking in a kindly way at poor Joe. "I've only got to rub a walking spell on the soles of his feet and he'll be all right. The walking spell will make his feet want to walk, and he will have to stand the right way up to walk on them, so he will be cured. Come here, boy." Joe walked over to the witch on his hands. She took down a jar from a shelf and opened it. It was full of purple ointment. The witch rubbed some onto the soles of Joe's shoes. Rimini, romini, reet, stand on your own 2 feet. Rimini, romini, row, the right way up you must go. And of course, you can guess what happened. Joe swung right over, stood on his 2 feet again, and there he was, as upright as Moonface and Silky. Wasn't he glad? I'll be back very soon with chapter 5, Saucepan Makes a Muddle. Until then, be good. Bye-bye.